Hey guys, back here with Tua for another video. Update pup date time, week 34. If you're new to this channel, I do this style video every single Sunday on my Bullmastiff here, Tua. Basically updating you guys on the week as he turns another week older, any new experiences that I have with him. And then I also touch on a lot of things, the same stuff every single week, and just let you know how he's grown, not only physically but mentally. Basically the point of these videos is to give not only myself something to look back on one day, but create a great log of information for any potential future Bull Mastiff owners. This will give you very detailed times of a Bull Mastiff's life and how they are growing, like I said, not only physically, but mentally, socialization, their energy level, barking, drooling, all kinds of stuff that I touch on. This should give you somewhat of an idea of what you could possibly expect if you wanted to get one day. And I know I had a lot of questions myself going into getting one, and it would have been nice to have some sort of video series like this to look back on. So usually I kind of start out each video with just some new behaviors or things that I noticed throughout the week. And this week, for kind of some newer stuff, he did start marking. And by marking, I mean peeing on stuff, lifting that leg, and going ahead and marking trees, bushes, some like streets, not street signs, but like signs at like parks and stuff. And I'm assuming he's smelling other dogs on there that have done the same. He hasn't done it inside. I know it can be an issue, they say, for unfixed dogs to be markers, especially inside. So hopefully that doesn't become an issue with us. Tua is not fixed. And at least as of right now, I don't plan on getting him fixed. I've talked about that a little bit in the past, and maybe I'll make a video on that in the future. But yeah, so new behavior this week is he is starting to mark stuff. He's lifting that leg and peeing on stuff. Another thing that I kind of noticed this week, as far as new stuff goes, is he's definitely starting to like get some more of that guarding instinct. He's been very aware of his surroundings. Like this week, my wife ordered just an umbrella for outside on our patio table, and she left that box inside, and Tua was in his crate at the time. And when he came out of his crate, that box was just kind of sitting against a wall in our living room. It wasn't like it was that noticeable or out in the open or anything, but he immediately noticed that. His ears perked up, the hair stood up on his back. He kind of did some woof, woof, kind of under his breath stuff at it. And definitely aware that that wasn't there when he had gone into his crate. Also, when we set up that umbrella outside, same thing. He reacted the same to it because he knew that that was different, and he hadn't seen it there in the past. Also, we had a balloon in our house this week. We're getting ready for my daughter's birthday coming up here, and so she had a happy birthday balloon, same exact reaction to that when it was in our living room. So that guarding instinct is starting to tick up a little bit with him. And that's to be expected with, he's almost 8 months now. Now I'll go ahead and just get into all of the normal stuff that I touch on every single week, starting with weight. Last week he was 101 pounds. He is up 2 pounds this week yet again, so 103 this week. I want to say that's the 4th or 5th consecutive week of a 2-pound gain in weight. So that weight has slowed down quite a bit compared to how it was when he was at his peak. For a long time there, he was doing 4 to 5 pounds a week, and now we seem to be pretty consistent on that 2 pounds per week. And I would anticipate that that would start slowing down to like a half a pound to 1 pound here in the near future, because his max weight is probably going to be about 150 pounds, which is what his dad was. And these Bull Mastiffs are supposed to continue growing until about age 3. So I would anticipate that these 2-pound weeks are going to pretty soon here start slowing down into like half a pound to a pound, or maybe even less, and stay pretty consistent like that for a while. Energy is another thing that I touch on every single week. So the last few videos I've been saying that he seems to be in this like teenager type phase where his energy's up, and defiant isn't necessarily the right word, but because that sounds bad, but I'll go ahead and use that for now because I can't really think of a better word to describe it. But just think of a teenager that wants nothing to do with their parents and thinks they know everything. And every once in a while, he's kind of acting like that. The energy level's up. He's not doing a whole lot of like mouthing, but he will at times where he hadn't for a long time. when he's really in intense play, he's kind of jumpy up on me and the kids and stuff like that. And again, I want to stress that it's not like out of control or anything. I've said that in the other videos, but it's just something to make note of because for a long time, several months, there was none of that. And everything that I've read and people that I've talked to, this is pretty typical for when they get to about this age. They just turn into teenagers and they want to kind of act out a little bit. But it is just a phase that they go through, kind of like chewing when they're a puppy. It sucks for a while, and there's kind of nothing you can do about it. You just kind of contain it, and then once all those teeth come in, then it's gone. So I'm assuming that's kind of what this phase will be like also. And when he is doing stuff like this, it seems to be kind of at night. Like after he's eaten his dinner, it's like a 2 to 3 hour window where he's just acting like this. Otherwise, for the most part, during the day, he pretty much just kind of sleeps. So he is still a very low energy dog. It's just for like that 2 to 3, maybe 4 hour window. So just something to make note of. For food this week, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, I experiment, or you would know that I experiment with raw food. I supplement that into his kibble every single week. Try to switch it up as much as I can. This week we went ahead and gave him raw hamburger, raw eggs, and some carrots just to put on top of that kibble. Scarf that down as always. No bad reactions with that food. His poop, he hasn't had diarrhea now in a long time on raw. And it was never even really diarrhea. It was just kind of softer in the beginning if you watch that video that I had when I started experimenting with it. But otherwise, I would say like his poop is pretty much nice and hard all the time. And maybe even smaller than, I feel like I'm starting to notice that. It's a little bit smaller than when he was just on straight kibble. And everything that I've read about raw, that's kind of typical because their body absorbs more of the nutrients than when they're just eating the plain kibble. Socialization is another thing that I touch on every single week. This week, we brought him to my daughter's soccer game again. I touched on that last week. And we got him on a lot of walks. At these soccer games, there's a ton of people there, a lot of little kids. We have to go through kind of a huge crowd just to get in and out of this place, so it's really good to get him exposed to a lot of people. Again, he seemed, like I said last week, a little bit stressed and excited. Like, it's kind of hard to tell because he does love people, but he seems kind of on edge for, a little while, and then he calms down. But he loves being there and just kind of looking at everybody and watching the kids, and a couple people come up and pet him and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I did realize this last time that we brought him there that there's a sign right there on the gate that says no dogs allowed. So I don't know if we're going to continue to bring him there or not anymore. Nobody said anything to us yet, and there actually was another dog there the last time that we brought him. So I don't know. We'll see if I decide to keep bringing him. At the same time, I don't really want to cause issues and get in trouble or anything, so we'll play it by ear. Maybe we'll just keep bringing them until somebody says something, and then we'll just happily comply. Or if nobody says anything, then we'll just continue bringing them. But yeah, so it's really good to get them socialized there with all the people. Barking is another thing that I touch on every single week. It's definitely been increasing, but it seems to only be increasing when it's like around our yard or around our house, which kind of goes back to like the guarding instinct that I was just talking about earlier in this video. He started barking at the dog on the other side of the fence, our neighbor's dog, for the first time, and he'll actually put his front paws up on that fence when he's barking at him. He seems kind of aggressive, but he's never had any aggression towards dog or people in his whole life, so I think it's more just like him trying to intensely play, but he's definitely letting out some barks. I didn't get that on video, but I did get, he was inside of our house and he could see our neighbors in their backyard, and I got that on video, and he was kind of barking. It wasn't as intense barking as when he's barking at the dog on the other side of the fence. It's more of like that under his breath type barking, but here's a little video I took of it. And again, that barking only seems to be when he's in our yard or in our house. If I have him out on walks, or like when we take him to the soccer games and stuff like that, if he sees dogs or sees people, there's no barking whatsoever. So I want to say that's related to him kind of guarding his territory, his yard, his house, stuff like that. Drooling is the last thing that I touch on every single week. The last several videos I've said that's kind of unchanged, except for food, water related. When he's drinking water, as his jowls and everything are growing bigger, that drool is becoming more intense after he drinks water. I said that the non-food, non-water related drool kind of stayed the same. This week I'd say there was a noticeable increase with that non-food, non-water related drool. It was very hot this week, so he was panting heavily when we were out on walks, and it was definitely starting to become noticeable around his jowls. Definitely beginning to drool when he's very hot and panting a lot. But again, like I've said in all my previous videos, that type of drool hasn't been a big issue to me because we're outside when that's happening, obviously. So then we just lay him down. As you can see, look at it here. He's drooling right now as he's chewing on this bone. But this would also kind of be something where now I can anticipate that and have a rag ready. So look at you, right on cue when we're talking about drooling. You can see the foam kind of coming up on the bottom of his mouth here. So good job, Tua. But yeah, drooling, at least for me, as of right now, hasn't been an issue. I know that's a big issue with a lot of people going into considering a Bullmastiff, though. But definitely just wipe it up as soon as they're done drinking water, and then if you get back from a walk or something, have a paper towel or something ready to go ahead and wipe that drool up when you get back from a walk. But when he's just lounging around in the house and stuff, no drool whatsoever. And I will say this drool that we're seeing on his lip right now is the first time I've ever noticed drool from him just chewing. So there's something to make note of right there, just right on cue in the video, I guess. Otherwise, that's pretty much it from the week, guys. As always, if there's anything that you'd like me to update you guys on week to week as far as behavior or growth or anything like that goes, let me know. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.